Reptichip sets the standard for reptile substrates. Made from the highest quality coconut available anywhere in the world, Reptichip allows enthusiasts and keepers to provide their reptiles with the necessary humidity and thermoregulation required for your animals to thrive. You can support the podcast by heading to reptichip.com/snakeboy or visit the link in the description below. This episode is brought to you in part by Exoterra. If you're as passionate about reptiles and amphibians as I am, you know that quality matters. I use Exoterra products on all my reptile and amphibian enclosures, which is why I'm excited to be partnering with them. From naturalistic decor to innovative lighting and enclosures of all sizes, Exoterra has everything you need for your cold-blooded companions. Exoterra, make your reptiles feel at home. This episode is brought to you in part by Unlimited Exotic Pets. Every day is Veranda Day for Nick Lillis, and it shows. At Unlimited Exotic Pets, Nick produces high-quality monitor lizards with a deep commitment to ethical care practices and top-tier nutrition. These aren't just pets. They're responsibly bred, ethically raised animals. Whether you're looking for a new companion, starting a breeding project, or anything in between, Nick has you covered. Unlimited Exotic Pets, keeping and breeding quality without limitations. This is the Expert and the Idiot podcast. If you like the show and you'd like to support us, there's a link to our Patreon in the description below. Some benefits include getting access to new episodes up to a month in advance. There's also links to USARK and USARK Florida. If you're not already a member, please sign up. Enjoy the show. All right, welcome to episode 108 of The Expert and the Idiot. Today, I am joined by Paul, Duran, Yuki, Bone, Claude G. What does the G stand for, Claude?
Gagnon. I have my mom's last name.
Oh, okay. Right on. Well, welcome everybody. Everybody knows who Paul is already. So Yuki, I guess I kind of want to lead in with a little bit of backstory here. Yuki and Paul, you guys didn't meet until you joined the Patreon, right? You guys didn't know each other until you joined the Expert and the Idiot Patreon and got on the Discord, and that's where you first met?
Yeah. Yep. That's correct. Yeah. I remember Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, you're fine.
I remember listening to the podcast with Stephen Cush's Corner, and I saw the episode when he was talking about his scrub pythons, which he maternally incubated, and I was completely fascinated by that story. Okay, I thought it was awesome what he did. And, right. So a while later, I saw your podcast, and then I became a Patreon. But I did see you thanking Paul on like a reel or something, and then I thought, hey, that's Paul. So I have to be honest, he is a little bit the reason that I went to be your second Patreon.
Wow! So you were actually just such a fan of Paul, you wanted access to him.
Yeah, that's true. I must admit it.
Maybe now he'll answer my DMs.
Oh God. Well, so I mean, it's pretty cool. This, kind of getting on to the Patreon and talking in Discord and everything ended up leading you guys to having a herping adventure in Australia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
It did.
And so what was that process like, going from like, when did you guys first decide you wanted to go herping together? And wasn't it initially you guys were looking at sort of a herping centric, South America or what, wasn't it somewhere in the Americas, like a herping expedition? And then what brought you guys to, going to Australia instead, which seems like a much more monumental sort of adventure because it's it's so far away from both of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember asking in the Discord if somebody would be interested to come with me to, like, for example, Suriname. You know, because that's for me is it's a bit closer. The people speak Dutch over there. You know, for my first big herping trip, I thought that was pretty awesome too. And I remember like Joy and Paul immediately reacted and were enthusiastic and were saying, "Yeah, we would like to join you on a herp trip." And yeah, it just how do you call it? Yeah, it just watered away. We weren't talking about it a lot after that. And then all of a sudden, I remember it like yesterday. I was busy with giving my reptiles some fresh water, and then this message came in via WhatsApp, and Paul was asking, "Hey, it's a bit close, but do you wanna come with me to Australia?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" You know, that's that's a that's a big trip, and it took me like 10 seconds to say, "Hell yeah, man, we're going."
Right,
I'm just
exactly.
doing
He's
it.
like, yes.
Yes.
hmm
You know, I wasn't even really thinking about can I afford it, or I just no, man. I just had to do it. It was a bit like I just had to go. You know, I couldn't say no, so it happened, and I said yes,
That's cool.
and then we just yeah, the ball started rolling from there.
Yeah, I think we
Wow.
put it together in 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although we were talking about it earlier than that because I had mentioned wanting to study in Australia when I was in college, which I recently graduated, but it ended up not working out while I was there. So Paul and I were batting back and forth, like, hey, when I'm done, we should totally go do a big trip like this and see if I would maybe want to move there more permanently and do research work. So then it got locked down, which was great.
Nice. Do you plan on moving to Australia at some point?
Potentially, maybe not in a permanent sense, but there aren't a ton of wildlife bio jobs in the US right now. So, and they're like, yeah, come on, you crazy American. We'll just send you out in the bush and you can go find venomous snakes. No worries. So, potentially, yes. Yeah.
Awesome. And so how did you get were you sort of involved with the inception of this plan to go to Australia, Claude? Was that like were you on that? Did you recommend it to your father? For listeners, Paul is your father. That's why you called Paul dad.
Yes. No, yeah, I just call him dad.
It's not just
an inside joke.
It's not a nickname that Paul
for the first
has.
time in Australia too. It's not weird.
Yeah. This 20 or 30-year-old shows up. I'm like, hello. No.
I call him dad too.
He was kind of trip dad. So, but in the sense that we talked about it a lot, I mostly leave the trip planning to dad, and I mostly just laid out parameters of stuff that I would want to see. Like, we have to see cassowaries while we're there. We have to see blue tongues. And the mammals was more my side because I knew that he was very opinionated about the reptiles we would see. So I was like, well, here's some birds and some mammals that we should also consider looking into. But I mostly just let him do his thing. He has the flow state with trip planning, and I'm not going to interrupt that.
Nice. Well, so we have a bunch of pictures here. So, I mean, we could start getting into sort of some of the images, and you guys can kind of get into some of the stories behind the images, and we'll just kind of work through it from there if that sounds good to you guys. This episode is brought to you by Chewy. Most people think of Chewy for dog and cat food, but if you keep reptiles, you should absolutely be using them too. Chewy carries everything from all the brands you trust, like Exoterra, Arcadia, Zoomed, and everything in between. Live feeders to frozen rodents, enclosures, substrate, heat lamps, thermostats, water bowls, misters, and more, all in one place, shipped straight to your door. Sign up for Chewy Plus today, free for 30 days. You get free shipping, 5% rewards, and exclusive offers. I use Chewy, and you should too. So you guys are going to have to sort of maybe, because I know there's a lot of Spotify listeners. So if you could sort of create a mental image of what we're looking at here, just to kind of walk the listeners through what we're bringing up on the screen, that would be great.
Sure. So we won't worry about so much about chronology, doing it in chronological order or anything. But this is early in the trip. This is a chameleon gecko in the Atherton Tablelands in a national park up there, or a state park rather. And basically, it looks like somebody just had a bunch of spare parts from mostly lizards, but I don't know what that head is. And they just sort of put him in a bag and grabbed him out piece by piece and clutched them all together, and you wind up with this ridiculous looking thing.
It's like a stick drawing of a gecko. It's like just the bare essentials.
But what is that?
Yeah,
the head is it's like a dog or something without ears.
Yeah, it's a very elongated face and sort of a sandy colored body with almost like an elongated leopard gecko tail. And then this would appear to be a male, correct? I mean,
yeah.
That's what I'm seeing visually. And
seems like
very long legs, like kind of creepy looking long legs and sort of spindly long fingers. And this gecko is perched up on a branch, which is kind of weird too, especially holding its body up off of the branch, and really elevated by its long spindly legs.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And also this species doesn't have the padded toes, so it's just like a leopard gecko, but he is standing on a super small branch. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's just off the ground, like observing stuff that's running under the branch that it's sitting on.
Mm-hmm. And I like
a lot of our pictures were optimized, say. But this one is definitely in situ. That's exactly where we found it. And it's about maybe 8 inches off the ground, something like that.
Yeah.
And where was this like geographically? Were you guys walking on a trail, or like where did you come across this animal?
Yeah, just walking on a trail.
Yeah.
It was or a dirt road.
It was actually
really.
a pretty bad night because it was the full moon. So we were out there looking for possums, but we weren't finding any. But we were just using some red flashlights and walking down this path, and we were just getting a bunch of spiders for the first while. And then we started getting a ton of geckos. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so let's see here. Let me bring up this gecko. And so what is this that we're looking at here?
That's a species of leaf-tailed gecko with the crazy eyes, like the most crazy eyes. Those things, like that one, it's posed against some really contrasting leaves. So in that case, you can actually see it pretty well. But that's another one of those ones where the camo is crazy. If you don't eye shine it, you're not going to see it. But the eye shine is really strong, especially with red lights. That was actually a big learning thing from the trip. Was the guy that we were hanging out with, and just for context, we had a guide for the whole trip. This guy named Dougal Gilman, who is such an asshole. He's great. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing guy.
Absolutely.
So he herps a lot with red flashlights instead of white ones, and he had these really pretty powerful red lights, and they were amazing for finding geckos and mammals. In particular, the eye shine was way stronger, and it didn't freak out the animals. The animals didn't just immediately flee. like they did red and white lights. So the whole time we were like passing these red lights back and forth. And we would, and like I said, we would have never found these geckos without it, because they are 100% camouflaged when they're in the in the leaf litter.
Yeah. And if you're going to Australia, you have to buy the red flashlights outside of Australia, because they don't sell strong enough ones in the country. So come prepared rather than.
It's so funny.
They're pretty hard to find in the US. And
once you're there.
I'm having some custom made. Yeah. I'm getting some custom made for our next trip. I know, right?
Yeah, but it was super surprising, you know. We were. I remember buying a 3100 lumens flashlight, and we were all having those great white flashlights. And then he was saying, "Yeah, then you better don't use these things, you know." I use red ones, and we're like, the red one. I've actually never heard someone mentioning. Eye shining with a red light is way better than white light, and it really was. It really was. And if you saw this guy Dougal, who really was amazing, I can't emphasize that too much, because it's just incredible. If you see him walk with the red flashlight, just going, you know, I was thinking, what is he doing? You know, you can't find an animal like that. And boom, yeah, there it is. Boom, yeah, there it is. And it was just. We were super amazed how easy this guy could find eye shine, while we were seeing nothing, especially in the beginning. You know, later on we were a bit like getting into it. You know, like finding our own animals with eye shine. But in the beginning, it was just he was the only one who found it. Oh no, Paul found the leaf-tailed gecko. Don't forget it. I almost forgot.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I've never heard of red being more ideally suited for eye shining, so I'll be interested to try that out, because I know that. I mean, I'm fairly decent with finding animals with eye shine. I mean, sometimes it's deceiving. You'll see like a decently sized shine, and you'll get into some palmettos or something here in Florida, and you find this little inch-long frog, you know, sitting on you know, it's wild. Something that we see a lot of is the wolf spiders here. I mean, like the ground lights up with eye shine from wolf spiders.
They're everywhere.
There was a lot of that in Australia. I'd get very excited because I'd be like, "Oh my god, the eye shine is huge," and that would be a gigantic. Were they huntsmen? I guess.
Oh wow!
It'd be a massive huntsman.
So. Yeah, a bunch of different spiders. But lots of them.
It's
and also
it's not why we're here.
Keeping the flashlight just right between your eye in like, let's say at the same height as your eyes. Just if you just do this or just shine like this, this just makes so much difference. You know, keep it on the right level, and then boom, you see it. If you make it like this, it's gone. You know, so important.
So having it right in line with your eye,
right in line with your eyes. Yeah, super important. Yeah.
And so kind of give me some background on finding Dougal and getting him, you know, set up for all this, right? Because it's sort of in my mind, going herping, especially abroad, is like this monumental task, you know, just getting all these pieces to fall in place, so that way everybody meets up on the same day. You know, on the other side of the world is it seems like this monumental undertaking. And then there's the financial aspect of it as well, you know, and like, you know, is this something that in your opinion is attainable for just like a regular person from a cost perspective? Like, does it double the cost of the trip by adding a guide on? And is that cost worth the extra effort and time, saving money, because it increases your likelihood of success so much?
Well, so the first question, how do we find him? So when I decided to do this trip and then to try and find people to do it with, I reached out to him because I was aware of his YouTube channel, which is Brother Nature Oz, OZ. And I'd found some of his, I think I found searching for Iron Range scrub python. And found his videos and really vibed with his whole approach to herping and naturalism, where it's not just, checking a life list. Okay, I got a picture, go on to the next one. They're really spending time with the animal, really understanding the animal in the context of its habitat, and also honestly not just being about herping. So we had the understanding that we were going to be going with a concentration on herps, but that if there weren't herps to be found on a given day or night, there's birds, there's mammals, there's fish. We went snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef and stuff like that.
There's
there was always what's that?
There's the odd bull shark in a river.
Yeah, the bull sharks in rivers.
Wow.
And so I had reached out to him because I really liked that philosophy of herping and of travel in general. And I thought, maybe I just reached out to him and said, hey, we're going to be in Cape York Peninsula these days. Is there any chance that we can meet up with you for a day? Or maybe if that's not possible, can you give us some suggestions of where to go? And we particularly want to see scrubs and green tree pythons. And he was super generous. It turns out we were really lucky. We got him just as he was transitioning from, he's mostly worked as a carpenter and contractor, and done sort of part-time guiding. And he's like one of these guys where, no, dude, what you should be doing full-time is guiding, because that is what he just lives, breathes, sleeps. That's all he's thinking about all the time, right?
Yeah.
And he's ridiculously skilled at it and has really deep knowledge of all these, like a pretty wide swath of Australia. So when I reached out to him, he's like, "Oh yeah, we could totally do that." And he was really generous with us because we were basically he does guiding on a contract basis for another larger company that mostly does birding, and so he's a contractor for them, but they book the clients, and they put him there. They're basically brokering the trips. So this was the first time he had done something with us or with his own clients, but the financial aspect of it, I mean, we basically had to almost force money on him because he was being so generous with us. So in our case, the money aspect of it wasn't really so much of a concern, but going forward, I can't really. I have no idea how he's going to work that going forward, or with other guides. Like some companies, it's fairly expensive, and it totally depends on where you go. But in this case, it was like, I would say, for people who aren't skilled herpers, like none of us are, there is no way that I would do it without a guide. I mean, we would have seen 5% of what we saw.
100%.
And it would have been way less
just like a
safe,
completely
too. We were
different
in areas. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, way less safe. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get bit by a venomous snake, Australia is the best place to get bit because there's so much medical care provided by that. But if you're going to be looking for interesting snake species, you're going to be in really rural areas in dense forests with no cell reception. So if you're by yourself without somebody who can ID snakes on the spot, if something goes wrong, it really goes wrong. So you need to, it's like looking for mushrooms. Don't do it unless you're always 100% sure what you're getting into.
Oh yeah, there was one point, we don't have any pictures for this, but which is good. We were up in Lockhart River and we're driving along, and it was the daytime, and Dougal slams on the brakes. It's like, snake! And he and I just jump out of the car and just start tearing ass through the brush, which I realized, like, oh shit, I'm barefoot. And
he's also barefoot.
Dougal's always barefoot. He has like
Dougal's
hobbit
always
feet, right?
barefoot,
It doesn't
or in
matter
Crocs.
for him. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm barefoot, and we're running through basically a smoldering junkyard with like all these shards of rusted metal and everything, and we're just fucking tearing through the brush. Just, snake, get it. And then he's like, "Oh, wait a second, it's an inland taipan."
Oh my god!
Like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let
he
this
still
one
kept
go.
chasing it. Dougal did.
He did so.
He was like, "Oh man, I'm really bummed we didn't get that." He sulked about that for a while.
Yeah, that's
actually.
my favorite snake to handle. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and the fact that he wanted to go with us and stay with us was super fortunate. I remember Paul saying, "Yeah, Dougal is it's okay with coming with us," and so we were happy. But I was thinking, maybe like a day or 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. If we're lucky. And then he stayed with us like every day. Like like a friend. It wasn't a feeling he was our guide or something at all. Maybe the first day, but after that we were just. We were just a tight little group we're having fun. We're feeling like we're best friends for years. You know what I mean? And
yeah, totally.
Yeah, and then that was so cool, to experience that, especially for me because I didn't even see Paul the first time and Claude, and so I came from Amsterdam and then meeting those guys for the first time. Yeah, it's pretty. New and strange in the beginning, a little bit, and then seeing them, and in 2 days we were like hanging out, laughing, making man jokes, and you know how that goes, So and it's just one fantastic guy, Yeah, you should. Everybody who goes there, I can so how do you call it? Like
a recommendation.
Recommended. Yeah.
Yeah, for Dougal.
He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, I'll have to get him on some point. That would be cool to hear some of his adventures.
Absolutely.
All right, well let's hop on to the next picture. And so, do you guys happen to know the name of this gecko, or is it just an Australian leaf-tail gecko? That's
Dad's been writing his notes for this.
Let's see.
No, he hasn't.
Yes. I'm serious.
Yes.
He has an entire bookshelf filled with Australian field guides, and he's just been cross-referencing everything and going through the lists that we made on the trip. He's like,
so you do try with some stuff, Paul.
Yeah, the things that are important to me, the things that I care about.
He's an academic at heart.
But emailing pictures at 1:30 a.m. the day before we record,
Yeah. It was only 10:30 my time. Oh God, what the hell species is this? I put it in the email.
Yeah. And maybe it's,
you did?
Maybe in the meantime, I can tell you, I went there for 2 weeks, and those guys went for like 4 weeks, and 3 weeks from those 4 were like hardcore herping. Like we planned it like this, we went to Cairns the first 3 days. Then from Cairns, we went with the plane to Lockhart River, which is a super small native town in Cape York. After that, it was like a week Darwin for me and those guys. And then I left, and then they went to the Red Center after that. So that was the our plan, which we booked our tickets, we rented our cars, everything in advance, and there was that's
we did have a hilarious incident in Lockhart where the main reason we went to Lockhart was looking for scrub pythons because
and green trees.
Listeners might already know, and green trees. Listeners might already know. Dad and I, we keep scrub pythons, not Australian ones, but we love ours very much. And part of how we care for them is doing research into how they behave in their natural habitat and how we can best mimic that. But we were in Lockhart. We weren't finding any scrub pythons. And the 3 older guys were really bummed. We were like, oh, like we had seen some in Cairns, but not in Lockhart. And they were like, oh man, I'm really sad. We get to the airport on our last day there, and the woman who was managing the airport that day says, oh, your guys' flight isn't until tomorrow. And we're like, what? And she said, yeah, you got here a day early, you morons. And the whole day we had been looking at our plans and we're like, that's weird. The hostel charged us an extra meal. We'll have to call them about that later. And it turns out, no, we just forgot which day we were leaving. So that night we're furiously looking for scrub pythons. It's getting really late. It's maybe 11 p.m. We were out for a long time that night. And we're driving back to the hostel. Like, yeah, it's okay. We didn't see it. It's fine. We'll plan another trip, and it's good to have something left over. Smack in the middle of the road, there's a massive scrub python. And Dougal, Yuki, and Paul are screaming. They're hugging. They're all sweaty, and we're all gross and sweaty. And they're just like, yes, we did it. They're super excited. I'm also excited, but I was trying to just keep an eye on the thing. But yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah. So what is this? What is the picture of this scrub python that I pulled up here? So this looks like it could be in Florida somewhere if we had had invasive scrub pythons, because this is a common sight that I see is palm trees, and nestled in the center of this palm tree is a scrub python. And this is King Horneye?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So tell me the story behind this scrub python. How'd you guys come across this one? This was on like day one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
free-day one.
Yeah. Dougal found this by himself when he was waiting for us because he got bored. So this tree is in the middle of a children's playground and public park in Cairns. So he spotted it and he just saw a tiny bit of it, and he texts us a photo and says, hey, I already found one, so we can just go see it straight from the airport. So we basically just leave our bags in the car and go look at this thing. And we're climbing up in the trees trying to get better shots of it. There's a bunch of kids around and their parents asking like, oh, what are you doing? And we're like, there's a big snake in the tree. And the kids are actually kind of jazzed about it. The parents are a little less enthusiastic, but it was great. But Dad, you were the one having the more chatting about the logistics of it.
Oh, that's that was and just to circle back, it was a northern leaf-tailed gecko before.
Oh yeah, I had found the name. I tried putting it in the chat, but for some reason I can't put it in there.
Yeah. So basically, Dougal found this by just listening for birds making alarm calls, because he knew that he had been there a month before and there had been a scrub in the vicinity. So while he was waiting to meet us at the airport, he was just hanging out at the park, like, okay, where do the birds sound upset? And found this one sitting up in a tree, and he could see, like, this was several hours after, after we landed. While he was just, the first picture that he sent to us was just these couple of little teeny scraps of scales. And that's what we saw when we first got there. But we were still just so excited. At least I was, to be literally in Cairns for half an hour and looking at a scrap of a good sized scrub up in a palm tree.
Wow.
And then we just hung out watching it for a few hours, really. And then right around dusk, it started to wake up and it was looking down at us because we were climbing up the adjacent tree to try and get better pictures. And then as the sun set, it just sort of lazily uncoiled itself. And there were a whole bunch of other trees where the crowns of the trees touched each other. So it just left its perch and made its way across the canopy of trees, because all these birds were nesting and everything. So it's just like, yeah, dinner is served. I'm just going to, saunter up to the bar and
Yeah, a lot of
but
willy
that was
wagtail.
so cool. Yeah. It was just so cool, like looking up and seeing this. It was probably a 10-foot scrub, seeing it just sort of silhouetted against the setting sun or setting sky. And we couldn't really get any pictures of it because it was really dark by that point, but just seeing it do its thing was awesome. It was so cool.
And I mean, we've talked, privately, and I know that previously it sounded like you sort of had some apprehension that maybe you wouldn't see scrub pythons if you went there. Like that was your goal, right? Was to see scrub pythons. So to be on day 0, 30 minutes in, and to see this one, was that like a massive relief and kind of,
yeah, for sure.
It alleviated that anxiety?
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And a good omen, right?
Yeah. I remember Paul and Claude were there a bit earlier. I had to take my last flight from Brisbane to Cairns, when I was arriving. And just boarding the plane, I was just sitting down in the plane for the last flight. I got this message from Dougal also, of course, in our group chat. And he said, guess what I found? And I was thinking, nah, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not even there. And he found a scrub pine, and yeah, and that whole flight, I was like, oh, let it be true, and yeah, and the fact that it was just like you say, like a Florida setting, with some palm trees. The sea is just like 10 feet from the tree. And then he said, yeah, it's up there. And we were looking, and in the beginning I was thinking, how the hell is he seeing that? So we got our binoculars and then you see those couple of scales, and there was just enough. And I remember Paul climbing in the tree, and then Claude was saying, Dad, please, come on, man. Get out of the tree. Get out of there. You're going to fall.
Well, Yuki's afraid of heights.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it, And then I was...
How tall was this palm tree about?
Oh, the palm tree was like, what was it? In like 6-7 meters high.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that scrub is probably like 25 feet off the ground.
Yeah,
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just adjacent to like a normal tree, with big branches going all the way. And you could easily climb it, and Dougal with his bare feet just went in like a monkey. Whoop. And then Paul thought, I can do that too, And then Claude was thinking, no, Dad, you can't do that, man. Get out of
Well, I
there.
didn't think he couldn't do it. I was worried that the consequences for if he couldn't do it would be worse than if Dougal can't do it. Because Dougal's got like freaky bendy bones. Guy's made of rubber. Like he can just bounce and he's fine. Which is crazy since he's 44. But I have been with Dad when he's injured himself because he was excited about something.
Yeah,
and
I can totally understand.
Having that happen on the first day would be bad.
Yeah, I've heard some stories of his bicycle trips and things like that. I think he might be made of rubber as well.
And steel.
We used to race cyclocross together, and there were some pretty nasty falls from that.
Wow. Well, this picture is really epic. It's really beautiful. Just the the bokeh, sort of the foreground of all the palm fronds and everything, and the scrub's head right in the center. And so whatever it took to get that picture was well worth it.
Yeah, I love that picture.
Yeah,
it totally tells the story.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was really
awesome.
well behaved the whole time too. She was just staring at us like, oh.
And it was so surreal, especially I just had a 33-hour trip behind me. And then I'm standing there, seeing a scrub python, and we were all like, damn. I just couldn't get it together for a bit the first day, man. I was, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was very much like a we're not in Kansas anymore type moment.
So 33 hours, like where did you, starting in Amsterdam, where did you have to fly to get to Australia? Where were all your layovers?
I started here from Amsterdam for a 9-hour flight to Guangzhou. That's a town in China, let's say in the direction of Hong Kong.
Wow.
And then I had a transfer for like 4 or 5 hours. Then I went for 7 hours, maybe like 7, 8 hours to Brisbane. And there I had another transfer for like 4 or 5 hours too. And then the last flight was from Brisbane to Cairns, which took like 3.5 hours also.
Jeez.
So yeah, and I can't sleep in a plane.
Mhm.
So I left here in Holland from 5:30 in the afternoon, and I arrived there 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday without sleep. So
Yep.
I was pretty
Yeah.
pretty messed up in my head.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then went to bed that night. Totally exhausted. We went for a burger after we saw the scrub python. We went for a burger, if I do recall, and I was so
Yep.
tired. And even you guys even had some sushi, before that. and
Yep.
then I went to bed, and I couldn't sleep, man. I had oh no, this can't be true.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
that is certainly. If you're going to Australia, you need to sleep when you can. That was the biggest thing. We did not sleep a lot. We did not eat a lot. We
yeah,
were just go, 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 go. So if
Yeah.
you're not someone who can nap, you have to schedule sleep and stick to it, because it's just not going to happen otherwise.
yeah,
Mm.
it's pretty rough. But that's why we booked those 3 days in Cairns. It was we did that on purpose, so we had a bit of time to just adjust to the different time zone, and just relax. If you wanted to sleep, just go to sleep. And everybody just it's important to just let everybody do his thing. If Claude says I'm not feeling okay to go search for reptiles in the evening, and I'm going to sleep, yeah, that's okay. Do what you have to do.
Mhm.
Don't force yourself to do things you don't want to, especially with that heat, and because it is
Okay.
hot over there.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
there were times where so of the four of us, I was the one who stayed behind the most, so maybe every 3 to 5 days, I would take a time where I'm like, no, you know what? You boys go play outside. I'm going to take a nap. And it's sort of just like letting the dogs out in the dog park. They'll tire each other out. And by the time they get back, they'll be ready to sleep.
Yeah, for me, sleep is always a priority. Like I hate to say it, but like if I don't get like 7 hours of solid sleep at a minimum, I feel terrible,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is, but that always is like the scariest part about herping, and even going to the Everglades and staying up really late. And then my body
Mhm.
clock just wouldn't let me sleep beyond my normal wake up time of, 5:30, 6 a.m., so it's rough. You
it's
go to
rough.
bed at 2, 3 a.m. and then wake up naturally, even though you feel like trash, but you just can't go back to sleep. It's such a terrible feeling, but I don't know. I could imagine being in Australia, it would be, there'd be a lot of drive and desire to just go out and enjoy it.
That's exactly
In a
it.
big
Yes.
way.
You just what it is. You're not gonna find anything in your bed, So you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah, hopefully you don't
Yeah.
find anything in your bed.
Yeah. And then
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to run with that one.
yeah. And
I'm
just like,
referring to venomous animals.
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, there's certainly some
Very
venomous
venomous. No, but just like the story Claude told,
But that was actually one of the reasons that we decided to stay. I was just going to say that was one of the reasons that we decided to stay in hotels rather than camping.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of camping at the end,
Yes.
but especially with it being super hot, it was really important to like, okay, when we're downtime has to be actually restful. So, we stayed in pretty modest places, but having AC when possible really made a huge difference in terms of actually getting rest.
And a pool.
Yeah. And a
a
shower.
cold pool.
Oh yeah,
that
a couple
actually
times there
really
was a
helped.
pool, which was great. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But
But just
and now we have
take
this
it,
little guy.
just be able to have a shower, when you come back late at night, and just you feel so much better, when you're all covered in mud and insects
The
and
frickin'
and
flies.
sweat.
Oh my God.
You're totally soaked, and then if you can't shower, if you can't have a decent shower after that would be so bad. It's just
Hmm.
that just gave you just that feeling. Just take a shower, go to bed, and yeah, you feel pretty okay the next morning. And then you see those enthusiastic faces of those guys, and you're like, hell yeah, man, here we go again, bang.
Nice. All right. So what am I looking at here? We've got a picture of a incredible little lizard, a Boyd's forest dragon. And what's the story behind this guy?
Go, Paul.
Anybody? I mean, that one was like I only sort of even knew that they existed. I don't. Did Yuki or Claude? Did you guys know about these things before we went?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
Okay.
I
these
didn't
are
as much.
because of their unique behavior. Just hanging on a vertical tree, clamping themselves, and just like frilled lizards also do. And
Mhm.
they just have this like old Jurassic crest on their head, and they're cool little lizards. I've never seen them in the pet trade or something here in Holland. I never even saw one in real life. But yeah, I definitely knew about them. And I think we
They
found
have
it
a tiny
actually,
range.
yeah, at the Tablelands we
Mm.
found them, right?
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Yep. I mean, that was another thing that was really interesting about Australia when I would go look in the guidebooks. I mean, there are a bunch of things that have huge ranges that'll be, over an entire state or the entire region or even over the entire country. But there were tons and tons and tons of, especially lizards that, like this guy, minuscule little range. Like if you aren't going to these, maybe it's like an hour radius of driving, something like that. Then they're just not there. So if you want to tick off that animal, you have to go to this particular state park, and that's where they are.
Yeah, that really surprised me too.
And are they like, how big are they? Like, is this a full grown animal right here?
They're like,
I think so. Yeah, and
yeah, with tail, I think like 2 feet something. Like
Okay.
like a 2
yeah,
feet
the
lizard from head
most.
to
Yeah, I
toe.
was gonna say, yeah. So SVL is maybe what, like 6-8 inches. They're pretty small.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, they're he's very cool looking, sort of a kind of a darker, more, it definitely a green that blends in. It's not like a green iguana, like a really vibrant green, and
No.
and that it kind of a cool crest, not on top of its head, but sort of on the back of its head, going down its neck, and with like 4. They almost look like horns or spines coming out of the crest, and yeah, just sort of spines all down the back. Very cool looking little lizard.
Yeah, they're like bony dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super interesting. And now we've got this guy, which is a spectacled flying fox.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was another one of the things where I beforehand, I told Dougal, like, I would really love to see flying foxes, and Claude too. Claude's a huge bat nerd, and we don't have anything like flying foxes in America. I mean, because these things, like what, maybe a 4-foot wingspan, something like that.
It's like watching a dog fly.
Dougal's like, oh yeah, we could probably do that. And then he didn't really say anything else about it. And then the day that we saw these, and we also saw platypuses and a bunch of other cool stuff this day.
Platypodes.
We were walking along, and I'm like, what the hell is that squawking? Is it like some giant flock of magpies or something? What is that? It's so loud. And there's freaking hundreds and hundreds of these spectacled flying foxes in this colony. Wow. And we're walking under them, and it's raining guano, and they're just so gorgeous. A whole bunch of them had pups. Yep. Wow. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this one actually has a pup under her wing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
you can sort of see the
female with a pup under its wing, and it's like getting a little bit of a stretch in, kind of stretching one of its wings out, and it's hanging upside down.
And what's cool too is those guys are hanging on I don't know, maybe 20 foot high trees, and flying over. And when they fly, you hear this heavy like a.
Yep.
Wow.
It's such a cool sound, and the squeaks they make, you got to imagine if you see like hundreds of those guys and they squeak pretty hard, it's almost like deafening,
It's deafening.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's totally amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. Cool animals.
And what was the temperature like while you guys were there in this specific area? Was it really hot? I mean, it was summertime while you were there, right?
Yep, 100% humidity all day, every day.
Wow,
it was like late spring, and we were hoping to get there at the beginning of the rainy season, but we got there just before the rainy season. So that actually, while we were in Queensland, that decreased the number of animals that we saw. And we had to work really, really, really hard to find all of the reptiles that we found. The mammals, not so much. It didn't really matter. But the reptiles, they were thin on the ground. But that particular day was maybe low 80s temperature wise. It was comfortable. And we were in the forest. So it was mostly pretty shady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super cool.
It was way hotter up in Cape York, and then in anywhere that we were in the Northern Territory, it was freaking super hot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so now I think this would have been your target, right, Yuki? The green python.
Yeah, I keep green tree pythons, and since I've been a kid, like from 12 years old, these animals are just my jam. I just love them. There's something else, and seeing them for real, was just a dream. I could never imagine seeing one for real. So we going up to the Iron Range. And actually being in their habitat, and our guy Dougal saying, "Don't worry, Yuki, we will find one. We will find one." And then arriving there, and he was saying, because there was a bit of overcast, pretty much, and threatening weather. So you would thought it would rain, but it didn't rain. It was pretty dry still for weeks. So he said, I could see the doubt on his face that it was going to be pretty tough, to find one. And so we were searching for them even at daytime, and we were driving and shining for them, and we were trying everything to find them, but we just didn't see one, So I asked him again. I said, "Dougal, are we still going to find one?" And he said, "Yeah, we will find one." And he was telling stories that in summertime, when it's really wet, he would have evenings when he would find like 80 specimens, like 80.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, oh my God, So we were even looking for them at daytime, but they're so flashy green, and if you look up in the canopy, everything's green, and it's almost impossible to see them, at daytime. So we didn't find even one at daytime. And there was another naturalist. It was a guy named George who was there with his parents, and we would talk with him sometimes. He was at the same accommodation where we slept. At the greenhouse, and we bumped into him late at night. Like one at night maybe, and we said, so Dougal asked him, "Did you find something?" And he said, "Yeah, we found this and that, and we saw a water python, I think, and I saw a green tree, So we were like, "Oh wow!" So I remember that afternoon, Dougal gave them a location to find rock wallabies. So that was in our advantage, So he could tell us where the green tree was now. So George said, "Yeah, so he gave him the directions, and yeah, that was also incredible." But Dougal just drove up there. He knew exactly which spot he meant, in the forest. And we were walking.
He's like, go down the trail, and then just is it just past the dumpster?
Yeah, and there's you can go in there. There's an old camping site, which hasn't been used this time, and so we went there, and we had our flashlights on, and then bang, there it was, just an ambush.
Wow.
Maybe not even a foot from the ground, on a small, tiny branch, hanging there, glowing like nothing else. It's just and. I could feel. I already said that to Claude and Paul and Dougal. If I find one, I think I'm gonna cry. Just the feeling, and I felt my eyes getting watery, and I was so happy, and it was amazing. So we spent maybe like 1.5 hours with this animal, taking pictures. Paul had great camera gear, and Dougal too. And the funny thing was, this Dougal already told us, green trees are the most chill creatures on this planet. You can just, if you think their head isn't great on the picture, he went with his finger, just put his head tilted a bit, and it just stays like this. He can take better pictures. It's no aggression, nothing, and just like after 1.5 hours, of course the animal knows we're there, so it just slowly crawled up the vertical branch, and just left us to go up, and we were so thrilled, and yeah. The only thing was we didn't find it ourselves, so that was a bit, sort of.
Although Yuki, you spotted 2 others though.
Yeah.
Yuki became the legendary green tree spotter, which was super impressive because Dad and I could not see them at all. But you saw the one on the road, and then there was the one in the dry creek bed.
Yeah, the dry creek bed was amazing. Paul and I went one direction, stream upwards, into a dry creek bed, and Dougal and Claude went to the other side. And I remember vividly, I was talking to Paul and just saying, like, it's so amazing we're here, and everybody's having a good time, and everybody's feeling relaxed and okay, because that's, for me, that's very important. If I have a feeling in a group there's someone not feeling it really, it just makes it hard for me too. You know what I mean? So and we were talking, just feeling great, and then I just, all of a sudden, I put my flashlight to the bank of the river, and bang, I found my own one, just crawling over a tiny branch, finding a spot to go in ambush. And there was a little bit of rain that day, so it was covered in nice droplets, and just like, we were over the moon. It was just amazing, and
I could hear you guys screaming all the way on the other side.
So I went crazy. I let Claude, and then they were screaming, and I came running up, and And yeah, it's hard to explain in words. You just, if you see this snake, and it's still for me, I don't know exactly why, but a green tree python is one of those animals who are just so different and special, and yeah, I just love them. It was great finding them.
Yeah, this is a beautiful animal too. I mean, just beautiful, pure lime green with it looks like a string of pearls going down its back.
Yeah. That's
really incredible.
That's the Australian form. They have these perfect white scales all over the ridge of their back. It's just like it's one of those animals are just the Australian green tree python is I think, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful ones of all of them. Yeah.
And the weather was in the 80s for this, or was it a little cooler?
It was, I think, under the canopy it was a bit cooler, but it was still pretty warm. I can remember, I was thinking, you hear, even me, I keep them a bit cooler, not that hot. But I was thinking, wow, these animals can handle some heat. It's no problem for them. Especially the juveniles who are on the edge of the jungle. They're hunting. They're diurnal. They hunt at daytime. And I took some measurements, some UV measurements, and in the sun, so also on the side of the road where these animals are hunting, I had a UV reading of like 14, 16, like crazy, and it was easily like 35 degrees Celsius. So that's like, Paul, help me out. How hot would that be?
Yeah,
90s.
Upper 90s, mid 90s, upper 90s.
Yeah.
Wow.
For a juvenile green tree python, hanging out over there. Of course they will be there when the sun isn't hitting them directly, but they will get some hot times occasionally.
Oh yeah, for sure. During the day, it was into the 90s for sure.
Yeah, easily,
and ambient temperature, not just in the direct sun.
Yeah,
and there were tons of finding them was really, or looking for them was really interesting, because the color of the foliage is mostly this green color, like the adult form, but there's a lot of hanging yellow leaves on the I forget what the name of the shrub is, but there's as the leaves die, they turn yellow, and it's exactly, of course, the color of the neonates, right? And the size of that leaf and the way it hangs is basically the size of a neonate, and the neonate hangs in a posture that mimics the shape and angle of that leaf, and it's the exact same color, yellow. Yeah, super cool, right?
Yeah. How many times did we say, oh,
it even has the sort of brown spotting?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It's 100%.
Oh yeah. Damn it, it's we stopped so many times to yep.
Yeah. And
Leafianus.
Yep.
Wow.
Leafianus and Stickiensis were our two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the third one, the last one. So you got to imagine, Adam, you just drive on it's like a hard and sandy road, and you're just driving, and all of a sudden you just see it right over there on the edge of the rainforest. Bang, on a small little, where they push the sand to the side, you get this little steep edge of dry sand and mud, going like 3-4 feet up sideways. And then exactly there, when there was an old little stick hanging there, coming out of the rainforest and just hanging over there, there's a reflector for a car reflector sign, just 3 feet next to it. Just that really amazed me. Just seeing at night, seeing a green tree python hanging there in ambush on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And
we calculated, like, go ahead, Adam.
No, you're fine, Paul. Go ahead.
So we were talking about, like, okay, so their faces are 8 to 12 inches off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see with how much that one is essed up in the picture. It can get its nose to the ground, and maybe it has a radius of, say, its entire area that it can reach in a strike is the size of a salad plate. It's not even a dinner plate, right? It's a pretty small area. And so they just, they're just hanging out there night after night after night because they detected that there's a trail right underneath that. And they're basically just hanging out there in mousetrap mode. I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Or if it's the neonates, they're not eating, they're not in mousetrap mode. They're in skink trap mode, right? They're looking for little teeny skinks. How the hell did they do that? There's no heat signature. I mean, it's just I was in awe of these animals before this trip, but then actually seeing them in action, doing what they're doing, I came away even more enamored and just even more blown away by what it is what they do, what their life history is. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool. My carpet pythons go into that position every single night, which is, I mean, they have a very strict schedule. As soon as the UV light goes out and it's just the basking light, they start moving into their hunting position, and then they hang just like that, usually kind of close to their water bowl.
Yeah.
And they just, they'll sit there until probably, maybe 2-3 hours before the heat lamp comes back on, just waiting for something to come by. It's awesome.
Fantastic. I love that.
The proximity to water was a constant with so many animals that, like, you're not going to find them except in proximity to water. So we spent so much time hiking the edges of stream beds, either dry stream beds or stream beds that had water in them that you couldn't see the bottom of, which was always a little bit scary because, Dougal's like, oh yeah, this creek has a what do you call it? A 6 meter fuck off salty.
Fuck off.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And we're all just like, yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty weird.
Yeah.
I promised my wife and everyone, no, I won't do crazy things. And then you come there and you still like, no, I'm not gonna do crazy things. And then all of a sudden you are walking next to that puddle where you can't see the bottom, and you are too close to the water, but Dougal says, no, it's okay. Am I okay? Is it okay? And I just blindly trusting this guy, and doing it, hoping there's nothing coming to fly out of the water, wanking me in the water,
He did have you guys
I will say,
sign like a liability waiver, right?
No, nothing.
No.
Nothing.
I will say though, Dougal, even though the stuff we were doing was riskier than the average person would do, like every time we talked to an Australian while we were there and we mentioned what we were doing, almost everyone said, "Why are you doing that?" Dougal did take safety very seriously. Like anytime there was an actual danger or like it was no nonsense. Like if there's a venomous snake, I'm the only one getting near it. As soon as I say the word, you don't question it. You just move or get away or back up. If we're swimming and you need to go back in, you go back in. No questions asked. Like very, that was very serious.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Of course. Yeah.
We still did do a ton
All
of stuff
right,
that I would
well,
have never done, like following a cassowary into the woods.
Oh, geez. Let me bring up the next picture here. All right, so what are we looking at here, Paul? What is this a picture of?
That is the northern ridgetail monitor, right?
Black spotted ridge.
I'm sorry, black spotted ridgetail monitor. Yeah.
This
So now
was
we're
a
in
nightmare
Kakadu
to get.
in
It took
Northern
so
Territory.
long.
Yeah. Okay. So this guy, we were herping. It was so fucking hot. Oh my God.
Oh,
It was so hot. And
Everyone
we were,
was
so
stripping
this is
down.
probably like
It
10 or
sucked.
11 in the morning. Yeah. Yep. And so Kakadu, for people who don't know, is a huge national park outside of Darwin. And it's there's a lot of downsides to going there, including that the rangers are really, really strict. And you basically, as a tourist,
God.
you are basically like, you can see that we're standing off of the road in this picture. And we would have gotten in trouble from the rangers if they saw us doing that, because you're not supposed to leave the road unless you're on a trail. And there's only just like a couple of trails in this entire giant national park. And other than that, you're basically either supposed to pay the money to go on a boat ride with them, or walk these couple of little walking paths, or that's it. It's nothing like being in a national park in the US or a state park where you're on a trail and you see a bird and okay, well, I'm going to walk into the forest and go look at that bird. You're not supposed to do that there. This one, we were herping off of the road in the tree, in the stones, the rock escarpment that you can see in the background of that picture, and picture like all these horizontal cracks in the rocks, and the sun is just freaking roaring down on this hillside, and so
and
of
the
course
rocks
all
are radiating heat back
there's
up
lots
at
of
you, so you're dying.
Oh my God. Yep. And there's lots of geckos, lots of little skinks, and a fair number of monitor lizards. And this is probably the most common monitor that's there. And this one, I don't know, we probably spent an hour getting it out of the crack underneath the boulder that it was taking shelter in, to stay away from the giant monkeys who were trying to get a picture of it. But teamwork makes the dream work. And we were able to basically, we all stuffed our shirts in the cracks underneath the boulder so that it only had one way to access it. And then Dougal was able to get it out, and it was fine. You know, it was like one of these things where we were constantly, I would say that we were all checking in with each other throughout the entire trip. Like even when we're actively pursuing an animal, like we did in this case, which this was probably the most invasive that we ever were with any animal, was retrieving this one. Okay, are we doing so? Is the animal telling us that it's stressed and is like actually in distress from what we're doing? And this guy, once we had it out of the crack, it was fine.
It just kind of sat there,
and it wasn't like, it just kind of sat there. And I'm sure,
and not in a
I'm sure it was
not in like a freeze way, just in a
right. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is happening.
It's a beautiful animal. I mean, it looks
And
like its tail is like 1.5 times the length of its body. It's got
or more. So
long
there's
tail.
a lot of tail that I had to crop out of that shot. The tail just keeps going from beyond that.
It looks like it's pretty.
I think
it's
from
been
snout
eating
to tail
pretty well too.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
That one's maybe 30 inches long. Like, what do you think, Yuki? Like 800 centimeters, 800 centimeters?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, 70, 80 centimeters.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. It was a great animal.
800 is...
And especially the...
not 800 centimeters. 8
if
meter.
You see I like
monitor lizard. That'd be cool.
But I love to see I like to see the condition, of the animal. If you see like how full it is. The base of the tail is like it looks like a bit of an obese captivity lizard almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got a
Yeah.
muffin top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were pretty lucky.
Yeah, but you can see how
with
muscly
every
the legs
snake.
are.
Yeah, of course, but we were pretty lucky, also with all the snakes and all, because there are a lot of snakes who are where the tail was bit off, and but all the specimens we found, like the green trees, these scrub pythons, were all in perfect conditions, and that was we were pretty lucky, because that's what you want to find, but there's this this forest turkey who is living in the forest. Who are who are pretty. There are a lot of them, but they just protect themselves, and they will attack a scrub python if it's the way around, So they will chop their tail off, so they will get the hell out of there. But the animals were in great condition, all of them. It's I love to see that.
And what did you say?
I would say there
was?
Upper 30s, low 40s. I mean, and then we would by the time it was like 11 o'clock, it was uninhabited. Like we just had the GTFO. It was well over 100 by late morning.
Yeah, it was unbearable.
Jeez. Yeah, and you guys are all from the northern north hemisphere, so
oh man. Yeah. It was really hot.
But then we would go back there at night. So the reason that we were in that area during the daytime,
that one awful miserable night.
That escarpment. That escarpment and other escarpments like it are our own Pelly python habitat, and they've been found basically right in the backdrop of where that picture was taken. And so we did a fair amount of night herping on that hillside. Oh yeah, there's a canopy monitor. We did the night herping. I don't have any pictures of that in that area because basically it would just be sort of people. Oh my God. Okay. So it was still almost just as hot. It was fully 100% humidity. And then anytime you turned your headlamp on, you were just enveloped in this cloud of flying termites that bite and moths and
ants.
And you're just trying to get 10 feet through oh God. Yeah. It was super.
So I'm a massive
I can see why people don't find Owen Pelly pythons like, ugh. Yeah. Go ahead, Claude.
Yeah. I'm a massive wuss when it comes to sensory stuff, like sounds especially, and things touching me really bother me. So the whole time I was just trying not to have a total freak out. And I'm like, okay, it's just you thinking it's bad. The other guys are having a good time. Don't complain and be like a baby about it. And then Paul and Dougal were like, this sucks. We need to leave. And everyone else was just like, oh, thank God I didn't want to say anything because it sucked so bad. And I was like, yay, okay, it's not me being a baby about it. It actually does really suck so much.
No, it was objectively horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's like grilling in Florida after the sun goes down.
Oh.
Like the mosquitoes bashing into you and sucking your blood out. It's
oh man.
Yeah, bugs are not fun, especially when they're of the biting variety. So how far away was this one here? This is a spotted tree monitor that we're looking at here, which I mean its camouflage is like perfect for these rocks that it's perched up on. And what's it doing out of the trees? Because it is a tree monitor.
I think that this one was.
It's questioning its life decisions as it sits there on that baking rock.
It's like, maybe I'm a rock monitor. I don't know.
Tell me, what am I? No, I think we found that one.
That picture was taken from the seat of the car.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as we got out of the car, it took off.
Mm.
It was
So-
just having
and
its
it went into
morning
a
bath.
pandanus bush.
I think there's
Yeah.
a delay.
Yeah. It went into a pandanus bush, which then we all chased it. We were surrounding the pandanus, which is like this 10-foot diameter shrub, super, super dense. And and so we're all converging it on four sides. And I'm thinking, like, I don't even know how you can't get into that bush to get this monitor out. Like, mission accomplished, monitor. Like, we're not going to get you. But whatever. We've got the Dougalmeister with us. And so we're converging on this thing. And as we get closer on this bush, Dougal's like, oh, fuck. And this wallaby was sleeping under the bush that Dougal then flushed it. And the thing just comes like flying out straight at me and sees me as like, ah!
Wow.
And then it just, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're definitely in Australia now.
Yeah.
And how big was the wallaby?
Oh, I don't know, like the size of, they're like a couple feet tall, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rock wallabies
Not really
were
big.
The size of a small dog, medium-sized dog.
between 2 feet tall and 3 feet tall. Yeah, but they have really long tails.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. And so here we go. This is a saltwater crocodile, which is pretty notorious.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. I mean, I've talked to guys in Australia, and these guys view humans as a source of food, right? I mean, so that's kind of weird. It's a very different. Being in Florida and dealing with alligators. Alligators are terrified of humans, and as long as they haven't been fed, they are absolutely terrified of humans. No matter, even if you see the same alligator every single day. And even though they could easily kill you, they flee. It's very rare for you to be able to get close to them. But like I said, unless they've been fed. So, this animal here though, it looks like it was raining a little bit.
Can I explain this one?
Yeah, go for it, Claude.
Okay. So it wasn't raining, but there were bubbles coming up from the bottom because there's even more crocodiles on the bottom of the river. So this girl was incredible. I loved watching her. So we were on a boat tour very early in the morning. We were all struggling a little bit. And we had seen a couple of salties on our way in, but then we saw this one. This is a partially leucistic saltwater croc. And she was large. She was maybe 7 feet long, 8 feet long. She didn't have a ton of mass, but so for people who are listening, she has this gorgeous sort of cream colored head, and then her back is speckled with black spines and more of that cream spotting with black spots as well. And then her tail has an alternating cream and black pattern. Just absolutely gorgeous. And we know she was a girl because this much larger salty came up and was posturing at her, trying to proposition her. And he was massive, easily 10 feet long.
Wow.
And I initially was a little nervous because I was like, no, this is a really beautiful croc. I don't want her to get injured by this larger animal. And she looked at him and heard him bellowing and propositioning, and she gave a definitive fuck off, no way, and was rumbling and snapping. And he immediately backed off and was like, okay, nope. And she continued to growl and puff underwater just to be like, go away. I do not want you here. It was a really cool interaction to see.
I remember also when
bloodshed.
she came like vertically up with her head, like
Yep.
and going back in, just showing her her throat, like woof. And he was like, okay, I'll be back maybe, but yeah, it was super cool. Yeah,
Wow.
I think they were even larger than that, Claude. I think they were easily
I
like,
think so too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the girl was like maybe like 15 feet easily, and the guy was like 20 feet maybe. Was a big guy.
Jeez.
Yeah, awesome.
So the truth is probably somewhere in the middle between your guys' numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to guess,
Yeah.
I would have guessed in between them. But the ones that live in the
Yeah.
national park like this, they're not afraid of humans because they're not hunted there. But in other parts of the country, Aboriginals in particular shoot them, and they're so like the ones in Lockhart are way more skittish around people. So we didn't see any of them anywhere near this close in Cape York.
No,
Wow.
except for the sea. You remember?
Yeah. When we were tide pooling,
Ones in the ocean
Yeah, that was really cool.
at
by
2
the
in the
way.
morning.
Yep.
Yeah. Where there was
All right, let's
Oh yeah. This
look at this guy. So we got this is a Darwin carpet, which is really beautiful. It's got like that kind of burnt orangey yellow, all different, shades of orange and yellow and sort of reds and the caramel banding. Really beautiful. So what's
my
the story
camera?
behind
I was
this
struggling
one?
with I was struggling with my flash on that one. So that picture, I didn't get any pictures that I was happy with that even close to did justice to. Like when you shone a light on that animal, all of those dark bands just were brilliant gold, and lighting up like spotlights. I mean, it was amazing. I've never seen a snake look like that. So that was unfortunately after Yuki had left. And just funny little story that Claude and I were supposed to fly out the next morning, and we were so tired that we slept through the alarm and missed our flight to Alice Springs, which I had never done before. And so we wound up spending an extra day in Darwin, which meant that we were able to go out and look for Darwin carpets. And we also looked.
We have a funny story from that extra night.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'll wait until we're done talking about the Darwin carpets because that's the Mertens monitor.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm conflating the nights. Yeah. Okay, so this wasn't our bonus night. This was just our last night before. This is why we overslept, because we stayed out and
because Mariella found this one. Mariella's
this was just in a city
partner.
park, just like a regular city park in Darwin. I love Darwin, by the way. Darwin's awesome. But yeah, this is just like walking along a path in the city park. And they also have Aerophilophile snakes there and mangrove snakes, which we didn't see either one of those.
Mangrove snakes are the ones that pull apart crabs. They're the ones that one of the few snake species that eviscerate their prey. It's really cool. I highly recommend looking up videos of them. Seeing a snake pull a crab limb from limb is one of the most metal things you can see.
Wow. Man, that's crazy. So if you guys aren't really early for your flights, you're really late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we screwed up several flights on this trip.
So that is
a way to make the trip less affordable, by the way.
So did you guys just go to this park and just go hiking through it at night? Like what time was it that you found this Darwin?
What, like 9:30?
Oh, that's not too
9
bad.
p.m.
Yeah, it wasn't
basically
that
as long as you just start. Yeah, basically as long as you just start going out a little before the sun goes down, you're gonna find a lot of really cool stuff.
Wow.
And it's so far north that there's not that much of a difference, right, in the length of days. So it's not like, here, if we're near the summer solstice, the days are 16 hours long. There, it's like, they gain or lose maybe an hour, I think. So you don't have to wait till really late at night to go out. You can go out at 7:30 and it's already dark.
Wow.
Even in summer.
And was this animal, it's hanging in that upside down position? Was it waiting in ambush, or was it on the move when you guys found it?
It was on the move. So
Okay.
that one we posed. We just stuck it in a tree 5 feet away from where we found it, and it
stuck itself in a tree.
Hung out there briefly, and then crawled back down onto the ground. Yes.
Yeah, we just happened upon it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
We're getting it off the road.
Yeah. Safety is a priority. So so Yuki wasn't there for the Darwin carpet, right? So are we we're not in order then?
Yeah, we're not in chronological order. Now this is back in Kakadu, but this gives you an idea of the horizontal, the fracturing of the rocks and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yuki's also unfairly photogenic. It's a crime, honestly. Like,
yeah,
there were
just this picture of him from behind. He's got like a jacked back. He's kind of in this hero's pose to the.
No, literally every single pose, like all of them. It's like his photos with the reptiles too. I'm like, dude, come on! Like,
no, my camera was constantly like, "Can I take another picture of Yuki, please?" I'm like, "Shut up! I'm going to take out your battery."
Come on, man! You're making me blush now. No, but it was really unfortunate, after 2 weeks when I had to leave, because I have smaller kids and everything, and I've got my own, I'm self-employed and you name it. And then those guys, of course, I hoped for them to find everything they just, you can imagine. But seeing those pictures, like all cool geckos, which I really wanted to see, like knobtail geckos and everything, and the Darwin carpet, and I was thinking, why didn't I stay the last week too, man? Why did I? Oh man, I was happy for them, but it was we found the Darwin and we found the monitor and I don't know, but it was but that's life, Next time.
Yeah, it's so beautiful looking there. I mean, just bright and sunny.
It's amazing.
And all the trees are nice and green, and was there a lot of like in these parks and everything, was there a lot of littering? Or are people pretty well mannered where they
varied a lot? I can actually tie this into the Mertens monitor story. Or Dad, did you send in a photo of the Mertens?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll tell this. I'll tell this now.
Yeah,
then.
Go ahead and tell it. Now.
So it varied a lot depending where you were. Like we were saying, in Lockhart, there was a lot of litter. There were large like a lot of Lockhart is sort of a public dump.
Yeah, basically.
But then in other areas in state parks, because Lockhart's not a wealthy area. It's a very small town. They have fly-in doctors that come in maybe once a week. So there's not a ton of regulation there, if any. But in parks like this, there was basically no litter. But when we were in Darwin and when we found that Mertens monitor, it was at a public, it wasn't exactly a hot spring, but these public pools, naturally forming pools, and families can come and swim, and there's a Mertens monitor that lives around there, and we found it, and we were just sitting there for an hour or two taking photos of it, and towards the end of that time, when we were looking around the springs for other animals, this group of 3 people come in and are sort of yelling at us drunkenly. And there are signs everywhere that say no glass, no metal. So you're not supposed to bring beer bottles or anything like that. You can get a pretty hefty fine for doing that. And, there's a bunch of animals that live. It's not just like a sterile place. It's an active ecosystem. There's a ton of really cool frog species that are only found in this location. So these 3 very inebriated people come up to us and are sort of shouting drunkenly at us, asking like what we're doing. And
they're not hostile or anything. It's more
no. They're just very wasted. One of them has an ankle monitor on. Very bogan, the three of them.
Wow.
But so for some additional context, I work at a zoo when I'm here. So I was wearing my zoo uniform at the time because it's very practical for trips like this. And they see me and I'm in the hat. I'm wearing my khaki shirt and green pants. And one of them looks and they're sort of eyeing me weird. And I see that they have the glasses and I'm like, oh, just so you know, there's been some rangers around. And if you're going to have those, just make sure to take them out. I don't want you guys to get fined. I hadn't seen rangers, of course. I just didn't want them to litter. And one of them goes, are you a ranger? And I'm like, mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I didn't say yes because I didn't want to have an altercation. But I said, no, but I've just seen some around there. I saw one 20 minutes ago. But yes, me, the baby-faced 23-year-old, I'm definitely, with an American accent, I'm definitely a Darwinian park ranger. So that was an interesting brush with the locals.
Nice. And how deep into the park was this? I mean, like, were they camping or what?
Oh, no, they had driven in, buzzed on their motorcycles. So it's literally just off the parking lot.
Oh, okay. All right.
They were totally wasted. They've got another rack of beer on their shoulder. And yeah, one of them had ridden a motorcycle and the other two had driven in their little sedan. But like, oh my God.
Jeez.
Yep.
Man, that's
next time we're just
Florida
going to tell them that next time we're just going to tell them that we're there surveying leeches with a parasitic disease in the water.
All right, I'm going to bring up this little guy. So what are we looking at here? This is an inland marbled velvet gecko.
Mm-hmm. So that's in Simpson Gap, which is just outside of Alice Springs. And we wound up seeing quite a few of these in the third week of the trip down in the Red Center. But like, how gorgeous is that thing, right? It's just so cool looking. And you can't really tell from that picture, but we got some really nice detailed shots of its feet. So they have the feet where they have both the claws and the pads. So so basically they're like completely all-purpose, all-terrain vehicles. They can go wherever.
The ultimate gecko.
Yeah, the ultimate gecko.
Yeah.
And they're not particularly shy or anything. And you can see as this one's crawling onto Claude's boot.
Wow. So there's rules on handling the reptiles in Australia, but what if the reptiles handle you? Like, what do you do in that?
Oh, we
situation?
made endless jokes about this.
Yeah.
So it is technically a felony to touch them. But yeah, this one was being very intrusive with handling me. It didn't exacerbate my stress too much, but it was generally ill-advised.
It did release you after a while.
Yes.
And this is like it's like a sort of a buttery yellow color with kind of I guess you would say maybe a really dark brown pattern that's marbled in where they get their names.
It's kind of like plum color.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of there. It looks like there's like a tone of kind of purple to it mixed in.
Yep.
And but then the tail is almost banded, but still marbled and just sort of that dark plum brown color with white and that buttery kind of yellow. Really cool looking, very pastel yellow.
Yeah. And they don't have the crazy patterned gecko eyes. They just have great big black tune.
Black orbs.
Bowling ball orbs. Yeah.
Super cool. And what are these geckos here? These are the northern spiny tail geckos.
Yeah. Yuki, you keep these, right?
Yeah, I have a couple. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. These are the ones who can spray the goo from their tails. You know.
Oh, yeah.
If they're threatened, they can. It's the Stropharis ciliaris. The Stropharis, all of them, they can shoot that goo from their tail. They don't do it in a captivity. Seldom, you know. But in the wild, when they're predated by, let's say, a bigger lizard or a bird or something, they will spray that goo, and it smells. They say it smells pretty bad, and it just sticks like, you know, it's, you don't want to have that like when you're predator. So it works, and I think it's a super cool adaptation, you know, just spraying
Yeah, what a
goo
bizarre
out of it.
adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like how do you even evolve to be able to do that, to have a leaky tail?
It's incredible. Yeah. And those guys, they are 100%, not 100%, but they're mostly arboreal, you know. They have those pets, and I don't think they have nails on it. I don't feel them when I hold them, but they can handle some heat. You know, they're just basking all day, getting like in the 95 degrees.
Jeez.
No problem, no problem for such a small gecko. You know, it's
Wow.
it's I find that unbelievable. Also with the nephrurs, you know, the knobtails, the knobtail geckos. If you see them, they're so soft and tiny, and they look so cute, and they're living in this super harsh, crazy hot habitat, you know, and just doing their thing. I find that incredible for such a delicate little creature.
Wow.
These guys, so I think these were the first ones that we saw of them, and so we spent a while taking pictures of them.
These were the fourth, actually, because Dougal and Mariella were so sick of seeing them. We saw so many of these guys that eventually, because Dougal and Mariella were the two that were really good at spotting the eye shine on the road, that they'd see the eye shine, stop the car, run out of the car. I'd trail behind them. They'd see it, turn around, get back in the car, and then I'd sort of usher it off the road because I didn't want it to get squished.
Yeah, we wound up seeing like dozens of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But those is this the picture with both of them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the picture where they're holding hands. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, these guys. Yeah, when I mean, how can you get tired of seeing them? They're just amazing.
Yeah. With those super spines on their tails, and above their eyes, they have a couple of those spines, you know. And the eyes are incredible, you know. The pupils are like zigzag.
And then they have bright orange tongues.
Yeah.
And again, it looks like they're perfectly camouflaged for their environment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sort of a, you know, just like really just, you know, a bunch of shades of brown, and, you know, they end up with, you know, nice yellows on their tail.
Yeah. And oranges also.
Yeah.
Even in I have them in a smaller enclosure here, not a real giant enclosure, but even then I'm having a hard time finding them, even with the lights on, you know. I think, is it escape? And I'm just, and then all of a sudden it's right over there. But it's incredible how camouflaged they are.
All right, now we're looking at the sand monitor, which is a beautiful orange color, and what's the story behind this one?
This is Dad's special boy.
Yeah, this is my special boy. I think about this monitor almost every day. I'm like, if I'm just sort of bored or feeling sad or whatever, I'm like, I wonder what the sand monitor is doing right now. So I'm serious. I do. So we had seen a DOR. We had seen a DOR of one of these. This is down by Uluru. So we saw one on the road before we got there, and it's like, oh my God, that is the most beautiful animal, and how hard does that suck that it's dead? And then we were just out one morning, and it was getting pretty hot. It was getting late in the morning, and we're right by the Ayers Rock Resort. So this is maybe within a kilometer for sure of the whole development there. And we're just sort of wandering around. We're 100 meters off the road. In this area, they didn't care usually about bothering you if you were off the road. And we were starting to pack it back in. I think everybody else had gone back to the cars. And I noticed there were some birds that were up in a tree and really fussing. And then they were dive bombing from the tree. And they kept going to this bush, just swoop down, and go back up, and then swoop down. I'm like, I bet there's something super cool under that bush. And so just sort of like snuck over there, and I see that bright orange tail sticking out from underneath the bush. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because up until this point, like I basically found nothing. Everybody else was way better at spotting stuff than me. And I'm like, oh, redemption is mine. And I start waving over to everybody at the cars. They're back over at the road. And I'm trying not to yell, but also communicate, like, bring the cameras now.
Wow.
And so we all converged on this bush. Because again, all you could see was that tail sticking out. Couldn't see the rest of the animal at all. And I'm sure it was aware that we were there, but it was sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, okay, I've got these birds harassing me. I really want to eat those birds or their nest or whatever. And now what the hell? There's like these people, and it would have been somewhat exposed to people because herpers come there a lot. So it's not like we were the first people to be herping that area. Probably people come there several days a week in that area right where we were walking. So, as we got closer, it took off, and it was a good example of mammal metabolism versus lizard metabolism. So in a sprint, it could go way faster than us. And it was, basically the ground is covered with spinifex bushes, which, like super sharp and pointy, right? And so it's trying to find a big enough spinifex bush to take shelter under. And we have the four of us chasing it, and we can't go anywhere near as fast as it, but it couldn't go more than maybe, 50 meters or something like that. And then it had to stop. So it found a bush that was sort of adequate to take cover under, but not really. And so we got a nice photo session with it again. But it was also the same sort of thing where it was really minimal. Like basically, pick it up, put it on this branch. That was the extent of the handling. It wasn't like where you had to like intervene with it constantly or constantly be messing with it or anything. It was really pretty minimal.
It was surprising how well it sat there. Actually, we were expecting it to run off way sooner, and I think it kind of realized, oh, I'm getting some good sun. I'm recuperating my energy. These guys aren't going to eat me. I'll just sit here.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks pretty chill. Beautiful, like tangerine kind of orange, really incredible.
And again, like look at that body condition, right? Super buff, nice chunky tail.
Yeah, fat stores in the tail. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is the thorny devil. I really like this picture.
Boy.
This is a really, that's an incredible picture. So if you want to take the lead on this one, Claude.
Yeah, so this was my big find of the trip. So we were by Uluru or Ayers Rock, and one of our big things that we wanted to find on this trip was thorny devils, because they're very interesting. The way that they've adapted to live their lives in this very intense environment is incredible, and they're difficult to find. So it was Paul, me, Dougal, Mariella, and then we met up with 3 other herpers, Trace and who were the other 2?
The other herpers.
Ruth and Yeah, they're Americans.
Yep. We met up with 3 of them. So it was 7 of us. We all spaced out about 3 meters apart from each other, so 15 feet, and just combed in a straight line these areas of desert. So we were out at 7:30 in the morning, so really early after staying up till 2 in the morning. And we're just walking and trying to find this thing. We're not finding a lot. They eat black ants, so a good strategy is to follow black ant trails and see if they're sitting there, because they'll just sit and lick them up. And I had gotten a little off track because I found some cool bones, and I'm like, oh, neat, some bones. And I look up, I walk maybe 3 feet, and right in front of me in this path that I diverted to because I wanted to find more bones, this thorny devil is just sitting there. I was like, oh shit. And I say, I found it. And I had a history of exclaiming about anything that I find cool, which most of the others found pretty boring. Like anytime there was a frog or a bug, I was like, yeah, this is the coolest thing. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So they thought I had just found something silly. I said, what did you find? I'm like, I found the thing. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, I found the thorny devil. And everyone's coming over, and it's another scrub python moment where we're like, oh my God, yes, we've done it. And the whole time it just sat there, barely even really registering we were there, just sort of just chilling out. And yeah, it was incredible to watch it. We got a ton of photos with it. These guys are neat because they have grooves running all along their body from their feet to the corner of their mouth. So the way that they drink is when it rains, or if there's any sort of moisture on the ground, through capillary action, it will be pulled up to the corner of their mouth. So they don't have to have even a full puddle of water to get a drink. It's incredible. And they are, like I said, they eat black ants. So they're just sort of tripping on ant venom all the time. So they're super chill. They're not going to try and bite you. This one barely even tried to move away from us when we picked it up. And I wanted to make sure that it got
theoretically
some food because we had interrupted it. Yeah, if we would have picked it up, it crawled onto me, and then I just walked around. But I wanted to make sure that it got some
get it off
food. And there were a ton of black ants nearby. There was a massive tree that they were all coming from and going to, and I just sort of put it, or I made sure that it made its way to that area, and I watched it for a really long time, and I was confused because it wasn't eating, and the ants were just crawling all over it, and I was like, oh, should I make sure that it's not like getting hurt? Because they were crawling over its eyes, and then I realized, oh, it's not dipping down to eat the ants because it doesn't need to. The ants are just walking into its mouth. So instead of wasting the energy to dip its head down, it would just, every time there were a couple ants on its lips, it would just stick its tongue out and just lick them up.
That's cool.
Like, that's awesome. But yeah,
that's super
great.
cool. And just the
cool.
The landscape there is so incredible looking. It looks like it has to be 100 degrees. It looks incredibly hot.
It was so hot.
Really beautiful.
Pretty much.
Man,
I love it there. I just really loved it there. Oh, it was amazing.
And these guys can also...
Yeah, herping in this area was nice.
These guys can also...
These aren't the blood lizards.
No? Oh. These are the American ones.
No, not these ones. That's a different... Similar looking... Yes, I think so. Yeah, these guys aren't the ruptured eye capillary blood shooting. That is it's a very distressing adaptation, but not these guys have, you can sort of see the little lump behind its face. They have a false head on the back of their neck. So when they feel threatened, not many things will try and eat these because it's like trying to eat a pincushion. But if something is trying to get a chomp out of it, they'll just tuck their heads down and the false head will stick up instead. And it's not attached by much, so it'll just sort of tear or pop off. And it's not ideal, but it's better than actually being decapitated. So.
Wow. Yeah, what an adaptation. That is crazy. So the ones that shoot blood out of their eyes, those are in America? Where are they from? Yeah, Texas. Okay, so they're the Texas horned lizard. Okay. Yeah, and apparently the blood is foul tasting.
Metal and distressing. Oh yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah. Those poor little guys. All right, so let's take a look at the Western brown. This is a cool looking snake right here.
Can you see the red eyes?
Oh yeah, they're insane.
I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, is that the coolest looking snake ever? I mean, we saw so many coolest looking snakes ever, but this is definitely one of them.
Yeah,
just amazing.
Yeah, its eyes are almost like...
This one was literally in the road.
Oh, really? Wow.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say its eyes are like really like forward facing. You know, it's got like sort of an angry look to it, and the eyes are orangey red. You know, very similar to the scalation on the animal. I mean, it's called a Western brown, right? But it's very orangey red, sort of. Would you say that's modeled with the darker coloration throughout the pattern? Really incredible looking animal.
Yeah. This is a particular color form that they have. We'd seen other individuals before this one that didn't have this amazing sort of red orange color, but these ones are people really look for these because they're so gorgeous. But it's a super spicy elapid, right? Like, I was really glad that I had a long lens for shooting this so that I could stay comfortably away from it. Because it was definitely ready to rock and roll, for sure.
Wow.
As you can see from the picture.
What kind of gear were you rocking? Like, what kind of camera and lens did you bring on this trip?
So it's a Canon mirrorless. It's a R5 Mark II camera body, and then almost all of the snake pictures were taken with a 100mm macro lens, and then the bird pictures and the basically birds and mammals I wound up shooting with a longer lens, like a 100 to 500 zoom lens, but the nighttime herp stuff was all with 100mm macro. So I was I would guess I was maybe 6 feet away from this when I took that picture.
And that was with the
had to crop in a little bit.
Okay. So that was with the 100mm, and that's a prime lens.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I was super happy with that lens. I love that lens. It was fantastic for especially for shooting venomous, for shooting geckos and stuff. I would have had a lot more flexibility. I could have used a wider lens and gotten a lot closer to the geckos, but for shooting anything venomous, the 100mm was perfect. I wasn't doing the Ross McGibbon thing of being like, how he puts like the shield on the front of his camera behind the flash, and so that basically there's a barrier between him and the snake. I just wanted to have there be a pretty big air gap between me and the lapids, because we were around a fair number of pretty switched on lapids.
Wow.
These guys and Western browns and mulgas in particular.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's not to say that they're trigger happy. They're like we were giving them reason to be cautious and upset. Like we weren't like overly bothering them, but these are snakes that aren't used to being messed with at all. So a lot of the venomous snakes, if we hadn't gotten near them, they wouldn't have cared. They just sat there and watched us. So they're definitely not chasing people down or anything, but when they're done, they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next one, Paul. I'm staying aware of your hard stop time in about 8 minutes.
Thank you. My root canal.
Oh, well, maybe we'll just keep it going and you'll miss that appointment. All right, so this is a mulga.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like I don't know if it's fair to say they're the king cobra of Australia, but they're pretty big elapids and they eat other snakes. So this one we rescued this from a gorge that was filled with water that we swam up the gorge and climbed up these dry waterfalls and rescued a whole bunch of snakes and lizards that were up there, the ones that were still alive, but there were like dead wallabies and stuff up there. And basically it's a slot canyon that animals fall into and then they can't get out.
Wow.
So we swam up this gorge knowing that that was going to be a thing. So we had several dry bags and Tupperware containers for anything that we found and that we could bring out. So we got this one, and then we got a children's python and tristis, Varanus tristis, and some other stuff too that I don't recall. But
2 children's pythons.
The mulga was 2 children's pythons, right? Yeah, the mulga was the most dramatic for sure. So super cool, right? Like totally gorgeous, amazing, and they're pretty good size. I mean, this one was 6 feet for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
This was that was in the Western Max. So that was on the way as we're going back towards Alice Springs.
Okay.
And then we have and now we're in Sydney. We've said goodbye to Dougal, and it's just me and Claude. And we're in a national park just like half hour outside of Sydney, and found several cool herps this night of basically all just road cruising. And the red form of Death Adder, we'd seen a different species of Death Adder up in the Northern Territory, but these red ones were really beautiful. This guy was maybe 18 inches long, something like that. And you can see it sitting on the road. So again, shepherding it off the road because there's a lot of traffic.
Wow.
That these guys, they were definitely, it was not a healthy place for them to be on this road.
Man, Death Adders are so cool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, elapids that look like rattlesnakes.
Yeah, lapids that look like vipers and give live birth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Super
exactly.
Cool. Super
exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, that rounds out the pictures, and I kind of want to just go to each one of you. We'll start with Yuki, and I just want to talk about, or I want you to talk about, how the trip changed you, and coming away from it. How has it changed your perspective on herpeticulture and just herping and, anything and everything, just anything that, how, like any profound impact that it had on you. We'll start with Yuki and then go Paul and Claude.
Yeah. For me personally, it's just, it made an impact on me, and I just, yeah, it's something you really have to do, if you see these animals in the wild, it just gives you you. I have more respect for the animals now than I had ever had before. And just feel the temperatures, feel like the humidity, seeing the things they do, the dangers they have to face. It's just, yeah, it's just something that made an impact on me, and I can so recommend it to everyone who loves reptiles or amphibians or wildlife to just do it and see those animals for yourself. It's it's pretty amazing. It's unbelievable. And next to that, it's the friendship I have now with Paul and Dougal and Claude. You know, that's that's also a very, very big aspect of it that I can really appreciate, and where I'm very happy with, because there aren't a lot of people you can share these sort of adventures with. So that's basically it, man. It's just, you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta come with us next time.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, really. It's and I just told Paul also, it's, I want to tell so much stories. There are so many things that I can tell, and which I felt, and but we just scratched the surface, like Paul said, and um, it's amazing. You're. I think about it every day, still.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic, man.
All right, Paul, you're up.
I definitely echo the friendship part of it. That was it's a pretty amazing way to get to know people really well, and it's sharing a quirky passion with other people. That I really just love that. I'm really grateful for that as well. But I guess the trip, it kind of I've been thinking about this quote I read in a Herping book, where they were talking about people's compulsion to compulsion is maybe not the right word, but people's drive to collect. And they quoted they had a quote in there from, I don't remember who it was from, where a guy was saying, "Oh yes, I have a collection of millions and millions of the most beautiful seashells, which I've decided to store on beaches strewn across the world." And I thought that was a really great way of putting it. That it changed my perspective with being less interested in herpetoculture and more interested in herpetology and herpetofauna just generally. And I still feel that urge to I would after seeing all of these Antaresia, which we didn't even talk about, I would love to have a Simpson's python or a children's python. I think that would be amazing. But I'm a lot less driven to acquire them and more driven to do better by the animals that I already have. Because I feel like their lives in the natural world are so complex that no matter what we do for them in captivity, we're just scratching the surface of what a life in the wild is like for them. And the more we can do that, the better it is for them. And also the more interesting it is for us. So it kept me moving on the path that I was already on as far as my philosophy of herpetoculture, and really made me think I just can't wait to do more herping. Here and abroad, cannot wait.
Nice. Claude, you're up.
Yeah. Agree with all previous points. It actually changed my perspective on not just reptiles, but just going out, and birds, especially birds and mammals. So I'm used to studying a wide variety of animals, but birds never really grabbed me. I liked birds of prey, but not, I was never into birding or anything like that. But it's kind of it's impossible to go out and do a trip like this and just focus on reptiles. Like, it's really important to learn all sorts of different animals, mammals, birds, amphibians, even plants, insects. You're going to have a way better time on this sort of trip if you can appreciate just anything that you're seeing out there, because it's all so interconnected. Like, a lot of the mammals helped us with finding the reptiles that we were looking for, and it helped us understand better why the reptiles we were watching were doing what they were doing. It was so. Now I've been dragged into birding, but I also need to find more friends who are willing to do this kind of stuff. The whole trip I was thinking, like, okay, which people do I know who I could ask to do something like this? I can think of maybe one person outside of these three guys. It's a short list.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't imagine how it changes you going, traveling so far too, putting that much effort into it and time and money. And, it's funny, you talked about, Paul, you talked about keeping the animals in captivity, and how it's so hard to recreate that in a house, in a climate controlled area, free of predators and, all these other things, and you could almost apply that to humans too, because you can see how impactful this fairly small amount of time was, on the grand scale of, the 52 weeks in a year, and how this is ingrained in your memory, just being outside and having these experiences. And, it has to be, just going outside is so therapeutic, even when it's local and it's not this huge task. So it's important for us too, just going out and, herping or hiking or it's enrichment for people, and the animals that we keep in our houses are enrichment for us when we're indoors,
Yep.
It's
absolutely.
It's definitely important. And
do the thing that you're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so happy that you guys got together and had this experience, and I'm jealous I wasn't able to go, but one day, it'll happen for me too. Hopefully with you guys. That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Please.
I would love that.
Yeah. Just want to add, the amount of fun we had is incredible, man. We had so much fun. We really laughed our asses off, Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So, and that's important too, man. Just having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for coming on and sharing your adventure. And we'll have to do it in real life at some point.
Yeah.
We'll have to do
Thanks
it
for having us.
You're here.